If you've been on a spiritual path, as many of us have for some time, then no doubt you've experienced a sense of separation from others. Even if you haven't been on a spiritual path, the question can reasonably emerge, why do I feel divided from or fundamentally alienated from other people? I think that the direct path teaching, which I'll say a little bit about today, has a beautiful way of taking up this matter. The direct path teaching, to which I'm referring, comes from Sri Atmananda Krishna Menon, an Indian teacher in the 20th century. He argued thus. Firstly, the examination involves seeking to understand the actual nature of our experience. Therefore, it offers a few tools or elements. The first is what it terms direct experience, which I might loosely define as whatever it is that can be known. Secondly, it speaks in terms of higher reason, a manner of inquiry that reveals the fundamental nature of our experience to be none other than awareness or pure consciousness. And third, it avails itself of something that's termed the witness teaching or witnessing awareness. Now, there are various ways that this teaching can look as it comes into the 20th and 21st century in the West. One style is called a tattvopadesa. And that means that there's a systematic, rigorous, methodological inquiry into set topics. And the inquiry moves one after the other. It begins with an examination of the world. It then goes on to look very carefully at the body. After that, it will examine at some length the mind. What does it reveal? I can only lay this out intellectually here, not experientially. It shows that the world does not exist in its own right. Rather, the world is nothing but perception. Seeing, touching, tasting, smelling, and hearing. The body does not exist in its own right. Rather, it is sensation, vibrating, tingling sensation, or perception, like visual perception. And what is the mind? The mind is not a container of thoughts and feelings. Rather, the mind is revealed to be simply thinking or feeling. The first major insight is that perception, sensation, thinking, and feeling are all indeed appearing to witnessing awareness. Witnessing awareness is the background, provisionally understood, to which and in which all objective experiences, thoughts, feelings, sensations, and perceptions are appearing. Now, one of the topics not frequently taken up at great length, or so I haven't seen, is that of our separation from other humans or beings. It can be tackled through this structure of the world, body, and mind, but I would like to touch on it separately here. Remember, the question I'm sure you've had many times is, why do I feel as if nobody gets me? Or why do I feel as if I don't have any friends? Or why do I feel as if I want to be around other people, I want to belong, I long to belong, and yet I feel severed or separate? Now, ours today is not going to be a psychological inquiry per se, nor will it be a sociological inquiry into the changing social conditions in which we find ourselves. Rather, it will be a metaphysical inquiry into the sense of separation we may experience in connection with others or other beings. The quotation marks here indicate that ultimately there are no other beings. There's only awareness pure. So then let's take an example. Let's suppose you were around someone and the thought arose, and we'll be looking at your thoughts. I don't like this person. Now, maybe it was just a sense of uh, aversion or dislike. But now you're alone and you're beginning to inquire or look at the matter more closely. I don't know why I didn't like this person. Well, I felt as if this person was trying to take advantage of me. Okay, so now we have the thought about being taken advantage of. I look more closely, but what was it about not wanting to be taken advantage of that hurt so much, that stung so deeply? What was that? You would keep inquiring and keep inquiring until you came to something like this. Oh, I keep being overlooked, passed by. It's as if I didn't matter. It's as if I don't matter. And so you come to something like, I don't matter. That's what the thought says. That's what the I thought, as Ramana Maharshi would say. We're not looking into the ultimate truth here. We're looking into an ego self. I don't matter, or I'm insignificant, or perhaps I'm invisible or non-existent. Now that we have the I thought, or the ego thought, we can look more deeply, thanks to the direct path teaching. So one of the things we can look for is the following. When we allow that I thought to rise, I don't matter, does it actually refer to an ego entity? If you prefer, when it arises, can we find within it, within the actual arising of the thought, an ego entity? So you need to do this on your own. You would discover that, no, I can't actually find in this arising, in this effervescent thought, I don't matter, any ego entity, any core something. That's just one case. I let the thought arise again. I don't matter. And now I'm going to look outside of the thought to see whether it refers to an actual ego entity beyond the confines of the thought. So I look, I don't matter, and I'm going to pursue whatever is outside of the thought. And to speak very quickly here, to cut to the chase, I won't find that it refers to a body or a mind or an ego. Actually, it will dissolve, and what will be revealed is awareness. If I pursue this inquiry, that is the inquiry into the actual nature, the svarupa of this I thought, I don't matter, I'm insignificant, whichever approach I take, whichever subsidiary inquiry I follow, I'm going to discover, but see it for yourself, that there is no ego and there's only awareness. Only objectless awareness. Now, how does this help with regard to my sense of separation from others? Ask yourself the question, in the absence of this I thought, what is my experience like? It doesn't feel as if there are others. There's no suffering, there's no separation, there's just free-flowingness, openness, clarity. Perhaps at the lower end, you might call it dispassion or detachment. You might say at the higher end, there's just this love, gentle, sweet, natural love. So what was discovered is that the sense of separation is part and parcel with the arising of the I thought, together with the belief and feeling that the I thought is real. Therefore, the inquiry into the I thought, for example, I'm insignificant, has revealed that there is no emperor with clothes. There's no such thing as an ego here. And therefore, the sense of separation gives itself up or collapses. How does the direct path teaching then help? Well, it would say every time one appears to experience a sense of separation from others, one can inquire into the nature of one's experience in order to discover first the I thought, or the apparent ego self, and then second, one can look around to ascertain whether such an ego self exists. Third, one can, as it were, come back to the situation and see what it's like. No more suffering, no more separation. Uh, One can simply allow whatever is happening to happen. One no longer feels as if one is so understood, if one understands the teaching here, attached to others, or holding an aversion to others. In fact, it doesn't feel as if there are others in one's actual experience. It feels as if there's simply, as was said earlier, wide openness, freedom, relaxation, gentleness, natural intelligence. So I suggest that you try this out and see what you find.